Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Welcome
hello.
in. Welcome in. I'll go ahead and pull this up here so we can jump right in. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's enjoying the ramp up to the Easter season. I know it's busy, so grateful to you guys for spending some time to hang out with us today. Let's see
Yes.
here. Sorry, I'm just pulling up my share screen here. It's just taking a second. Here we go. That should be visible now. Can you see that, Haley?
Yep. Looks great.
Perfect. Well, welcome in everybody. Today we're going to be going over some basics of Tithely giving and how to prepare for your Easter service. We know it's coming up, so we want to make sure we give you guys all the tools that you need to be best prepared for your Easter services. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. First, we'd love to ask you guys a question. You can drop it in the chat, but we'd love to know what everybody's favorite Easter tradition is, if you have one. I was thinking about this earlier, and I don't know if our family had like a solid Easter tradition. I know that the basics, for me at least, was my mom was like every other mom in the early 2000s and loved to dress all of the siblings up exactly the same. So that was
So cute.
that was always so precious. I loved that.
I
But
love
did you
it.
have one, Haley?
Yeah, my family, every year we always go to the same aunt's house. And I don't know how to describe it. Her house just like is Easter themed, like literally has like little ceramic rabbits in the backyard. And we'd, of course, spread eggs out for all the young cousins and stuff. But I don't know what it is about that house. It's just like
So
iconic
Easter.
Easter. Like I can't have Easter without that house. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely
I
a
love
favorite.
that. Yeah, well, we'd love to know. Haley and I will both be monitoring the chat throughout the call. But love to know if you have any Easter traditions, drop it in the
Oh,
chat.
so cute. Baby Jesus birthday cake. That's a really good one.
I can't, I need to pull up the chat, otherwise I'll get distracted. So I'm gonna hide it for now, but I trust that it's a very adorable picture.
It's so
All
cute.
right. Well, we'll go ahead and jump in, and as tr people trickle in, that's all right. But just wanted to get started. So first, we wanted to let you guys know the core values, the basics of Tidely, and our kind of our customer experience that we want you to have as you join on Tidely. So first one being we're customer centric. It's exactly what it sounds like. We're here for you guys. We're here for the growth of the church. And we're here to make the things that can be a little bit difficult, make them easier so that you can focus on the things that matter and that are important to your church. We also pride ourselves on being innovative, making great products with great prices, which kind of leads into the transparency as well. What you see is what you get. Like Tidely is always going to be super honest about the products that we can offer, and the prices that we do a really intense job of making sure that we make it affordable to all churches of all sizes because making giving easy shouldn't be something that only the big churches can do. So we're always transparent about that. And additionally, we're always solution motivated. So we want to make sure that we're providing the correct solutions for you. And that also means being invested in your success. So we want to make sure that everyone who joins Tidely feels um, connected, like especially to our customer experience team and our customer success teams. We value learning your story, making sure that um, the customer experience that we give you is tailored to you and your church, and not just like a one size fits all. So know that we are invested in your success and here to help you guys have a successful Easter season. So I myself am Mariah. I am a part of our CX team here. I handle all of our like low touch teams. So that's myself. And then Haley, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Haley. I'm from the customer support team. And yeah, we just really love to provide exactly what Mariah was saying, just a really tailored experience that makes sure that you feel like your needs are met and you are heard when you have any questions. So we're excited to get to teach you guys more about Tithely's system and how it really supports you during the Easter season.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just before we jump into things, we wanted to kind of give you an overview of our product suite. Today we'll specifically be covering the giving or finance portion, but as you can see, Tithely offers a wide array of products. So really there should be something for everybody here. And if you haven't ventured into our product suite, I highly recommend taking a look at our Tithely University webinars like this, where you can learn more about what Tithely has to offer. Um, yeah, and if you have any questions, of course, after this, you can ask it to us personally or reach out to our support team, but we'd be happy to give you some more details on our product suite.
And
And
speaking of questions, if you have them, there's the Q&A at the bottom of your guys' screen. So when you hover over the Zoom image, you should see Q&A as an option. So that's where you're going to want to place any questions you have during the Zoom so we can answer them. And if I see any in the chat, I'll just remind you to head over to the Q&A for those.
yes, absolutely. And then as we jump into things, just wanted to kind of give you an overview of what we plan on talking about today. So first thing is, are you ready to receive donations? This is kind of going to give you a basics of making sure you're verified, making sure your giving form is set up, those kinds of things. And then step two, let's get your giving form Easter ready. That's just adjusting any of your giving form settings, things like creating custom links. We'll get into all that. And then step three, what can your members expect on Easter? Haley was going to go through some details about the donor experience and what they can expect for that service. And then step four, after your service, how can you pull reports of your giving? So that's going to be all admin focused. And then lastly, what extra tools are available for you to communicate about Easter effectively? So let's go ahead and jump into it. Haley, also, if you don't mind, I did have a QR code here, but Haley will probably drop somewhere in the chat a link to our launch kit. That's going to be one of the steps here we cover in just a minute, but just wanted you guys to have that resource. So first things first, are you ready to receive donations? If you're new to Tithely and haven't yet already given a test donation, we highly recommend getting this done and getting that out of the way. That first deposit can take up to 10 business days. And so, if you're preparing for Easter and want to make sure that your deposits are coming in a timely manner, make sure that you get that test donation out of the way so that our team can verify your account, make sure you're receiving deposits as normal. And just for clarity's sake, it doesn't have to be any certain amount. It can be as little as $1. But just getting that test donation out of the way is super helpful to prepare for receiving donations. And then secondly, you'll want to set up your organization and edit any of your branding if you haven't already. Again, this is specific to those who may be newer to Tithely. So we just wanted to make sure we gave a good overview to those people. And then setting up your statement descriptor. Those two things I'll show you how to do here in just a second in our demo account. But before we do that, just wanted to briefly highlight a resource, our Unleash Generosity resource, which I think Haley will pop in the chat. But it's just a great resource. It's a launch kit. We give you all the like verbiage, all of the suggestions on how to get your team on board. So that's your administrative team on board with Tithely, and then how to launch it effectively to your organization, making sure that everybody feels confident using Tithely. So that's that resource I would highly recommend taking a look at. And then let me hop over here to our demo account so we can show you setting up your brand and organization. All right, can you see this all right, Haley?
I can. It looks great.
Okay, perfect. So the first thing is this main page. If you're not familiar with Tithely, this main page is what you're seeing when you first log into Tithely. Again, today we're going to be focusing on that giving portion. So I'll go ahead and click on this giving circle. And then what you'll do to manage any of your organization details or your brand settings is to go ahead and head to the global icon located on the lower left-hand corner. It looks like that little head and shoulders icon. And then you can click into this My Organization tab. And then here you can edit organization details from this page, or you can also edit them from this Locations tab as well by clicking anywhere on the name of your organization. So you can click in here and edit these details. And then along with the brand settings, as you can see, our demo account already has a logo, but if you don't have one entered, highly recommend doing that. And then once you've updated this information, just to be clear, what you edit here is what's going to show on your giving form. So when people search for your church, it'll be this name that they're searching by or that they'll see in their account or on the giving form. So make sure whatever you're putting here, you're comfortable with it being public. I know a lot of times people enter like their personal phone number and don't realize that maybe everyone can see it. So just a little highlight, make sure that you're putting stuff here that you want people to see. And then additionally, let's see here. Whoops. Sorry, the annotate button is right over the global settings icon, so I can't click back to it. Let's see. How do I get it out of there?
I know, technology.
Technology, yeah, for real. Oh, there we go. Goodness. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so what we're trying to do then additionally is also set up um your statement descriptor. That's what I was trying to get to. Let's see. And that should be in the settings icon. There we go. Sorry about that,
Correct.
guys. Okay, so once you get your branding and your logo set up, you'll want to click back to the giving page to access settings. So that'll be on this giving tab and then settings here on the left-hand menu. And then your statement descriptor is just what you're entering so that people, it's what they'll see when they give a donation and it's on their bank statement. So
Right.
typically, we just want you to make it something that is unique to your organization. That way, people see, for example, if someone donates to this organization, they would see Westside Church on their bank statement. That way, it's clear where they've donated to. So those are those steps for setting up the statement descriptor and your branding and logo. And then let me hop back to our presentation here. Sorry, you'd think switching between these screens would be easy, but it's just simply not. Are you able? Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. And then again, I really highly recommend taking a look at that article that Haley put in the chat for Unleash Generosity. That will be a super helpful tool when you're getting ready to launch and present to your organization. So highly recommend taking a look at that.
Yeah.
And then let's get your giving form Easter ready. This is going to cover just the basics of how to kind of manage your giving form settings, your fund management, creating custom links, creating a QR code, and then just some suggestions on where we would suggest that you share your giving form in preparation for Easter. So
Yeah.
let me hop back into our demo account.
Yeah, as she's doing that, I think it's really great to think about as we get ready for Easter. The reason that we highlight Easter for this webinar is because, as we all know, for our organizations and churches, Easter is usually that time of year where people who regularly attend church are of course there, but then those who don't regularly attend will come, and this is going to be that time of year where you just have so many more new attendees at your service that come to experience your guys's church. And I just love this type of season because I just feel like it makes such a larger impact because so many more people come. People that I know for me, I invite family members that don't normally attend. And so having the giving form set up, having things ready for just these new people in your guys's fellowships is going to be very exciting. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Our goal is certainly just to help you feel super confident by the time Easter rolls around. And there's little things that you should prepare in your account beforehand, but we just want to make sure that you can focus on inviting people and meeting new people and don't have to worry about all of the like back end stuff. So that's kind of our goal with this webinar is to help you feel best prepared.
excellent.
Um, so what I'll show you first is the giving form section. So this is where you're going to adjust what people see when they head to your unique giving form. So on the first screen, all you'll see here is just the location and then the links for you to share your giving form. We'll come back to this in a minute when we discuss the QR codes, but just to give you a basic overview of your giving form. On the styles page, this is going to be where you edit your primary and secondary colors, which would be the color of the text, as well as the color of these little, I would say like pill shaped buttons.
Yeah.
And You can also adjust the fonts as well. So this page is specifically for the aesthetics of your giving form. And then on the settings tab here on the far right side, this is going to be all of the information that you're collecting from your giving form. So this is where you adjust, for example, if you would like to see people have or to have people add their address. It's already added there, but typically this is default set off. So if you wanted to collect people's address, a lot of people do that for the sake of sending like manual tax statements. You can go ahead and turn that on. You can also, something that I would suggest for your Easter season, if you're making perhaps an Easter fund, or maybe you're hosting a potluck or an Easter egg hunt, and you would like people to leave specific messages in regards to their donation that they submit, you can go ahead and turn on the memo line. That just allows donors to go ahead and manually type in some details regarding their gift. So if they choose tithes and offerings but want to be a little bit more in depth, they can go ahead and add that to the memo line. The critical thing here with the giving form is that you always want to make sure you save the changes before you click away from that screen. That way, whatever you adjusted, it takes place and is reflected on your giving form. So then, as far as the basics of setting up your giving form, that pretty much covers like generally what you want to have set up beforehand. And then as far as the funds, let me go ahead and click on the fund management tab. So this is where specifically for Easter, we recommend like if you have an Easter fund and you want to add that to your giving form, you can go ahead and click the Add Fund tab here, and then click into whatever you choose to name that fund. So in this case, maybe I'll just say like Easter egg hunt fund. And then all you need to do to make sure that it's visible on your form is just leave this middle tab toggled on, and then go ahead and click Save New Fund. Once you do that, you should see it reflected in your visible funds. And another good tip, if you have a lot of funds like this account does, is you can also filter by the status of only active funds, so ones that are currently visible on your giving form. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then you should see here, Easter egg hunt fund has just been added. Additionally, you can also, if it gets added to your giving form and you'd like it to be in a different position, you can go ahead and drag and drop those funds. So whatever order they're listed here is the way they're going to show up on that drop down. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. And then we'll go ahead and click back to the giving form. This is for specifically how you would like to share your giving form. Tithely has recently added our very own QR code maker, which is super cool. It makes this process very easy to share your giving form. So you can head back to that giving form tab, go ahead and click on View QR code. And it's as simple as that. All you have to do is download the QR code or go ahead and copy it. But this is going to be the QR code that you would share that people can scan and take them directly to your unique giving form. So, highly recommend utilizing this tool. It makes it super easy to just maybe throw up on a screen on Sunday, maybe send it in a newsletter, in an email, or even post it on social media. This is just super, it's a very basic way to get people to your giving form during the Easter season. And then last thing we would do, or want to show you guys how to do, is create a custom link. So this is, for example, if you don't want to add a fund to your drop-down menu on your giving form, and you would like to have people just go directly to the specific Easter fund that you've created, you can go ahead and click on this Create Custom Link here. And then what you can do, which is super cool with custom funds, is you can enter a default amount. So the difference between the general giving form and the create custom link is you can actually specify the amount that you would like donors to give. So if you would, let's say you're receiving an offering for Easter, or you're receiving an offering for like a potluck that you're hosting, and you need to have a certain amount of money collected for that event. Let's say you need
Right.
$10 a person. You can go ahead and create that amount. And then what you would do is just attach it to the fund that you created in fund management, and then create that custom link. And now all that's done is you've created a custom link that now when I click on this and share it with my donors, it'll take them directly to the Easter egg fund. And then it'll also have the default amount set to $10. So donors can't choose how much they give. So this is super helpful, like I said, if you're receiving donations and you need a certain amount from each person. I would say definitely utilize this resource. It makes it very easy to create that custom code. And then
That's great.
lastly, I can't show you in the demo account, but I can just, Haley and I can talk about it. The places that we would highly recommend sharing your giving form is going to be things like social media. So if you have a
Yeah,
Facebook page, if you have Instagram, go ahead and utilize copying and pasting that giving form onto places that are easily accessible for your donors. The thing with Tithely and our goal is to make giving easy. So all you need to do is make sure that you're putting that code anywhere that your donors could see it so that if they choose to give, there's no getting flustered, there's no getting frustrated with trying to find where do I give, where do I go. It's making it easy for your donors to just scan a QR code, click a link in your Facebook bio, or even click a link from your website. So those would be the main places we would highly recommend sharing your giving form if you haven't already. I don't know if you have any other suggestions, Haley. You're welcome to share them.
that's great. Yeah. No, as we continue to move forward, I know I'll be speaking to kind of what will your donors see and kind of what is their gonna experience gonna be. So if we're ready to move on to that, then yeah, I can share some
Yeah,
more
absolutely.
insights for sure.
Yeah. Do you want me to share the
That'd be
slide?
great.
Okay. Yeah, let me do that.
And just to answer the question in the QA, we will be sending to each of the emails that you guys registered under a recording of this. And there will be an opportunity for any follow-up questions you guys have. We'll also send some links that will give you further insight into what we're teaching you here today. So
Yeah.
know that that is coming. So yeah, understanding the members' experience is also very important. We've showed you kind of how you guys can get started with your Tithely, be ready for Easter. And so we can go to the next slide. I'm going to show you here what the members will experience. And so, kind of like what Mariah was talking about, it's cool to think about. Like, I know for my particular church, they will create a custom link for Easter Sunday and make a fund for Easter Sunday. And that custom link will basically have that fund preset for me. They don't usually pick an amount for me, but they'll just set the link to be set for Easter Sunday, and then that QR code is shared on Sunday. And so it's been really helpful for our members. And like I said, when I bring my friends or my family who don't normally attend, to have that QR code on the slideshow that Sunday morning makes it so easy for them to be able to contribute towards just the things that we're doing in our local fellowships. And so the different areas that your members will experience, as you guys probably are already aware of, there is a free giving app that we'll kind of go over in just a minute of what that looks like for your members. Then you also have what Mariah just shared, which is sort of your website or giving form. So you may already have a church website that leads your members to the giving form, or just the links that we discussed today so far about the custom giving links or the QR codes that send them to your personalized link, which I will show you more of a demo of in a minute. And then obviously there is the other two options you have. If you have a custom church app, I know my local church does, and this is a great way to send people to your personal information. You can have specialized Easter kind of memos and announcements in your custom app. And then text to give is also a really useful tool. So again, in the Tithely University links and different launch kit things that we've sent, it will kind of go through if you have a subscription to text to give, how easy that can be for your members. But we'll go to the next slide. This is showing you just a little tutorial of what the giving app looks like for your members. So this is just my phone screen. It'll show you that dark app in the corner. This is our free giving app for any of your donors. It's able to be downloaded on their smartphones. And so this is what mine looks like. I just click the give at the bottom. I'm able to enter in how much I'd like to give. I can continue forward, and then you'll see select fund is there. So if we have Easter set to our default, that will be there. I can decide if I want to cover the fees. And it's just a really easy way to give for your local churches. And I can do it just all from my phone. And then if you can stop sharing, Mariah, I'm gonna share my screen now to give you guys a little sneak peek on the form that Mariah literally just created. So are you guys able to see this? Mariah, can you see my form?
I can, yeah.
Okay, great. So this is the form that Mariah literally just created. We see our Easter egg hunt fund is there. So this is what it looks like for me as a donor. I already have a donor account created. So when I click the link, I logged into my account. It already has my payment method set in there. And so we see that information that Mariah had already set for I need to add in my address. I can put in my amount. I could even, what's really great is I can set it up for reoccurring giving. So if I'm like, I want to continue to give to this church, I want to continue to give to this fund, I can set up reoccurring giving. And then that is such a simple thing where I can literally just decide, okay, I want to do it weekly on Thursdays. I want to do it monthly on the 20th. I get to decide. So this is a really awesome form that she has set up and so easy to use. And then I'll also show you guys if I were to sign out, this is going to show you for those members we were talking about, we have so many new people coming to Sunday service on Easter. So when they scan that QR code, they won't have an already set up donor account, which is totally okay because this is what the form looks like for them. It's just as easy to use, which is so exciting. So they'll be able to add in their amount, same situation. They'll get in their information here, which also opens up an opportunity as a touch point for you guys as church administrators. You'll have their contact to be able to reach out and thank them. The system does send an automatic receipt thanking them for their donation, but you'll now have some information for the future, making sure that they are able to know about the things going on at your church. So that is what it looks like on the donor side.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to let Mariah share our next slide for just the once the service is over. So let's say you had an amazing, successful Easter service. Congratulations, all of us. We did it. The members were able to get into their forms, give their donations. And now we're coming around to just the admin experience of, okay, now I want to be able to look at my responsibilities after Easter. How well did we do? How can we see the success of our transactions? So go ahead to the next slide. So as an admin, you're able to do so many things within the Tithely system, which is really exciting. You'll have abilities to look at all the transactions that came in. You'll be able to filter and view those transactions to make sure you have all the information you need. You'll be able to see summary reports. There's exporting. And then something that I didn't even mention would be our people space as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, and we'll be able to take a little peek and get a demo on this side of things. So as we can see here, this is when I get into my account and I go to the giving bubble here and then under transactions, this is our really well built out Tithely 2.0 transaction space. Just know this is a demo account. I'm sure Mariah already mentioned it, but any of the red banners you see, that's just because it's a demo. And of course, we have this very generous John Smith who gave, and I just love this account because it's really fun to use. But anyways, this is what the general transactions area is going to look like for you guys. And one of the things I'll start with is just the ability of adding in the information that I want as an admin user to have the reports that are best set for me. So that's something I love about 2.0. The first area we'll take a look at is this 3x3 square option up here. It's called columns. And what I love about this is we can decide, okay, as an admin, I want to know what fund they gave to. This is going to help me know, did they give to the Easter fund? I want to see what memos they left, or I want to know when the deposit date is that it transferred into my bank account. Other things that I think are helpful is like a payment type. What payment type did they use? But these are all the different things that I can basically select. And then as we see, it comes in here and I'm able to see what I was able or what my members gave to. And once I have all the information that I would like, I can also use filters. So one of the things I always recommend, even if you only have one church location, it's good to apply that location to your guys's filters. And then next, again, we can go into fund and we're able to find that specific fund that if it was the Easter fund or whatever we were looking for, we can set that in here. We can even set a date range of specifically that week leading up to Sunday church or after Easter Sunday church. And that way, once I have all my settings set, I can come up to this right-hand option where it's a view, and I can actually create and save my view. So these are a bunch of already pre-saved views. Mariah's got her view here. And once I've created that view, it actually shows in the drop-down menu under my transactions here. So I'm able to go to that and not have to continue to set those columns or filters every single time I come into the system. I actually can save it. So once I do have my view saved and I have all the columns that I'm looking for and all the information I want for my report, then we have this great button up here called summary. So this is where you're going to be able to come in and see how did we do on Easter Sunday. Now that I have all my filters set, I can come in here and it will give me categories, and I haven't set those here now, but this is showing me for each of these funds, this is how much you raised. And so you'll be able to see, it looks like even for this account, right? They had for 2021, they did an Easter 2021 campaign, and we can see the gross amount, the net amount, how much did we raise during that Easter Sunday. And it's such a nice kind of once over look of that summary report. Um, Finally, through the filters, specifically picking dates. So if I was to pick again a week date, so coming in here, I could say I want to know from the 9th to today, what donations were, given or taken. And again, because we have a demo account, it's not pulling up anything specific. But when I set those filters, I'll be able to come over here to the right-hand side. And if I need to, I can export a CSV file. And like I said, as we were talking about, again, these new touch points, new members coming to your church and giving, each donation, when someone gives, collects their personal information, donor information. And what's great is this is actually collected up here in your people's area. So again, we have a demo account, so it will look a little funky with some of the contacts here, but you'll see that it collects their name, their email, and then specifically, if you have that address section that Mariah was talking about set, it will collect that information as well, which is just great for when it comes to further tools that Tithely has to be able to reach out to these new contacts that you'll have in your system. And yeah, it's a really easy to use area. Last thing I'll mention as well is if you have members, if you guys pass around a tray during your guys' service, sometimes during these times, again, people may not be comfortable with tech. And so they'll give cash or check donations. And so what's great is we do have this amazing tool, Admin Batch Giving, where you are able to manually enter in your cash or check donations if need be. And those will show up in your transaction areas here and will also apply to those summary reports. So you will have a full encompassing understanding of what you guys collected for Easter. So that is the after experience of an admin and just the different things you'll be able to do to pull reports, which is great.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Haley.
Of
And
course.
then as we wrap up here, we also wanted to discuss some additional tools. I know we were kind of focusing on Tidely Giving, but again, as we showed you at the beginning, there's that product suite. We have lots of amazing products that can help you best prepare for the Easter season. So we kind of wanted to cover those briefly as well, just to make sure that you were aware they existed. So one being our Tidely messaging feature. This is $19 a month, but it's a great way to prepare for interactions between your church community. And so it has some features such as the two-way messaging. So that allows you to like engage in conversation with your visitors and members, allowing them to respond back to your emails. So this is super awesome if you want to have more of an engaging conversation instead of maybe just sending them an email and getting crickets back. This way allows you to kind of talk back and forth with your members. It's super helpful as well for, let's say, like first time guests, which a lot of churches are going to have first time guests on Easter Sunday. So setting up some communication between your new members is super helpful. And that kind of leans also into like the automated campaigns or the setup keywords section. The keywords can allow you to say something like text the word hey. And if someone texts the word hey back to you, it'll notify you that they're new. You can add them to groups and messaging. So this allows you to maybe collect a group of people. Again, I'm just using new members because it's Easter and that's kind of the basics. But that's a great word to connect with them via keywords in messaging as well. And then you also have the option to do like text and email blasts. So that's sending messages to more than one person at a time. This is super critical for churches who want to focus on getting other stuff done in the week. Maybe you don't want to spend all day sending emails to individual people. This kind of allows you to get mass communication out to all of your members and all of your congregants to make sure that you're focusing on stuff that's maybe more important and you need to spend more time doing. And then it also has that delivery tracking as well. This allows you to like monitor engagement and metrics with your communication to your congregants as well. So that's a super helpful tool. Come like holiday season, you may want to see the metrics and the engagement between the people you're communicating with. So that delivery tracking and messaging is super helpful as well. And then you also have the option to schedule emails and texts. So this is helpful if you are looking to, communicate with your donors and have to maybe prep an email for new visitors or prep an email for your volunteers. This allows you to do that through messaging. So highly recommend taking a look at Tidely messaging if you don't already have it. Also, just wanted to put in like a little plug that the SMS registration period does take between 2 to 3 weeks, typically leaning more to 3 weeks. And so if you don't already have the subscription, we highly, highly, highly recommend signing up today or as soon as you can to make sure that you are able to use that messaging feature come Easter time as it is right around the corner. So if you're interested in messaging or if you have any additional questions, of course, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A. Haley and I are happy to address those. And then additionally, we wanted to highlight our Breeze church management software as well. We actually had a webinar on Tuesday about event planning with Breeze. So if you haven't already checked that out, again, highly recommend taking a look at that. But Breeze is just a great way to manage events. So kind of as I laid out here, you can plan every aspect of your service from worship to the volunteers that you're scheduling, making Easter planning just a breeze. So highly recommend if you haven't taken a look at Breeze already to go ahead and either ask, of course, Haley and I, our support team, or again, take a look at that webinar. They did a really great job of making it a super well-rounded explanation of how you can utilize the event features in Breeze. So again, take a look at that if you haven't already. And then let me hop over. Perfect. So now we'll go into a time of Q&A. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've been monitoring that, but
I have been, yeah. So I answered a few questions here and I'm going to answer a few live. So if you can stop sharing, Mariah, I'm going to jump into the account here. One of the things I'm going to do, I know we have a question here about who is able to use the accounts here for deposits. So I'm going to go ahead and send you a link to a great article about who's able to use Tithely. Yes, we do support the United States, we support Canada, we support Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom. So just take a look at that article I sent and that should help there. But also, so I have Kevin here asking about deposits. So I just wanted to show you guys a quick little tour here of the deposits area because that is obviously very important when it comes to after the service. So this is our deposits area. Again, I'm in giving and I'm under bank deposits. So this is what deposits will look like when they're coming through. So a few things to look out when you're learning about bank deposits. First thing would be under giving, you'll go to your settings area here. And again, we're in a demo, so you'll see lots of red banners. You can ignore those. Yours should not have any of those. But when we look at the deposit statement settings, we'll see our deposit schedule set here. So this is actually something you guys can come in and change change whenever you need for your particular needs. The reason why some of these would be set to what they are, it's all dependent on your local church and when you guys need the money to come in. Some people prefer monthly because they have very large amounts of donations coming in often. So they want a larger deposit rather than a bunch of little deposits, whereas daily or weekly, they'll be much smaller, if that makes sense. And so when you set those deposits, that's going to be your first timeline to think about. So if it's on a daily deposit schedule, you should see daily deposits coming through and processing here. This one looks like it was probably set to a weekly for a while. And so you'll see different kind of cadences of that for specifically our demo account here. So that's the first timeline to be aware of. In deposit settings, or in giving settings, you'll have a deposit schedule. The second thing to be aware of when it comes to deposits, because Kevin, I know you were talking about how you had different contributions coming in, and something to point out that you already did was the payment type. So this is actually going to change the timeline of your deposit and whether the transaction is going to be included in the deposit that's coming or not. So specifically for cards, this is like credit debit cards, they're going to take probably about 3 to 5 days to process. They're much quicker, but their fees are higher than a bank ACH transfer. And so with bank ACH transfers, those are going to take between 7 to 10 business days to process because that's a bank communicating with another bank. But the fee is smaller. So again, you'll see number one, that we have a status here that will tell us whether it was successful or not. If you see pending here, that again could do with the bank communicating with another bank when it's an ACH payment, or it could do with the bank or payment processor for the donor still needing to go through some checkpoints about processing that specific gift. So if you see pending, that's going to be on the donor side where they're going to need to either communicate with their processor or their payment provider, excuse me, or it just needs some more time to process. So don't stress if it says pending. It may just take a little bit longer. Also, for example, John Smith gave a very generous gift here. If the gift is much larger, it will take much longer to process, depending on how large. Something like what Ira gave here won't take too long. It's about the same. This was a cash donation, so obviously we're not going to see that deposit, but you get what I'm saying. But something large like this would take longer because the payment processors need to talk with our processing on the back end. So those are the two different timelines that will affect your deposit. First, it's going to be the transaction and how long it takes to process. And then second, it's going to be when your deposit schedule is. Things that might throw this off would be holidays, when days are off for certain banks, that will affect the timeline. So let's say a holiday lands on the day when your deposit normally would come through, it may push it to the next deposit date based on that holiday and if the bank is open or not. So hopefully that helps answer that. Next was the question about editing a donation. So when it comes to your donations that you put through admin batch giving, that's a whole other kind of way to edit that on the back end. So if you have further questions there, I will put our support email into the chat, but there is a way to go in and edit those donations when they're manually entered in. You have editability. For a donation that's made by a donor like this top one here, when I click the donation in the transactions, I have a little edit pencil here at the right-hand side. And when I click edit, we'll see that the one thing I am able to edit when it comes to a donation made by a donor through the form or the app is just the fund. Other than that, I won't have much editability when it comes to specific transactions. There are other transactions that may allow me to make edits, as well as when we go over into reoccurring giving, I do have some editability when it comes to these, where if I click the blue arrow here, I will normally have an edit pencil here. This is a canceled reoccurring gift, but if it were active, I'd be able to go in and help a donor edit their reoccurring gift if need be. So those are the two areas that we actually have editing abilities. Again, when it comes to admin batch giving, where we're manually entering in a gift, we'll be able to do a lot more editing on the back end. We just don't have time to necessarily cover that here now, but there should be, let's see what happens when we go into this cash donation and click edit. Here's a great example. This was a cash donation entered in manually by the admin of this account. So you'll see I'm able to change the amount, I'm able to change the fund, and I'm also able to change the date just here within that small edit pencil. But there's much more that hopefully I'll be able to answer later on if you guys have further questions there. Let's see. So we do have some questions about how to send emails through Elvanto. Again, through the email that we send after this webinar, we'll be able to answer further questions on tools we're not covering here in the webinar, like Elvanto. It's an amazing tool, super, super great for Easter and for sending those emails out. So we will be able to answer you via email on more specifics about the Elvanto tool. And then if you need to edit a person's name, that's a great, great question. So, like I said, when we have people giving through transactions here, we then will get people's information here. Anybody who donates to your account, donates through Tithely on your form, they will show up here. So I kind of want to find like a real person here. Let's do me. I'm in here. I know that. So I'm going to go ahead and type my name, and let's say, oh, Haley Schultz is here with her full name, but then she's only Haley S here and Haley S there. And clearly I've donated with two separate emails. So what I can do is I can either do one of two things. I can try to merge, and the way to merge would be I'd need these names to match for me to merge these together. So for example, these are both the same email, so I'm definitely going to want to merge them. So all I need to do is remove that dot from my name, and then those two will be able to merge. So I go into people, I click the people contact here for Haley, and then I have this little settings cog up here in the right-hand corner, and I can edit. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that period. Now this matches the other one, and I'm going to go ahead at the bottom and save my changes. So now that those two Haleys match, I should be able to go to this merge duplicates area. And this is something that we always encourage people to do. Use the merge tool. Don't delete extra contacts, because by merging these, if Haley gave under this contact and Haley gave under this contact, like the phone numbers are different, for example, then
Yeah.
if I delete one, I might ruin the kind of any of the donations that were given under that contact won't know that Haley was the one that gave them. So to merge them, that means it will know, oh, these are all Haley's donations. So I'm going to go to the merge tool. I'm going to look for Haley. There she is, duplicates too. And then I can say, okay, which one of these is the real Haley? And then there's a little bubble here I'll fill in. That's the real Haley. Let's merge those. And then that will help with that people information there. But hopefully that makes sense that when you click the people information contact in your people space and click the little settings cog up here to edit, you should be able to edit any information you need for your members here, and just make sure to save at the bottom. And this information will transfer over to your transactions area where it will show those edits. Just give it a little bit of time. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
A
And
deposit is,
oh yeah, sorry, go ahead. You're good.
oh, Jeff, a deposit is automatic, yes. Again, if you're noticing that those deposits aren't following this specific schedule, reach out to our support team. You can do that here in the lower chat bubble and let us know. It may be a verification thing that needs to happen on the back end, but those should automatically come through based on the schedule that you've set here.
Yep. And then Haley, while you're sharing, because I just saw a question in the chat, not in the Q&A section, but wanted to make sure we address it. Showing how to schedule a text in messaging. Are you able to show how to do that real quick?
Um, I'll go ahead and let you do that.
Yeah.
I'm not super savvy on that one.
Yeah, I can pull that up.
Thank you.
All right, can you guys see my screen all right?
Yes, it looks great.
Perfect. Okay, so just for example, I'll use the blast as an example of how to schedule a message. So let's say I want to go in, and you can see we've done a lot of testing in this one. But we'll just go in, and let's say I want to send a scheduled SMS message to certain members regarding Easter. So I'll just say Easter service. Maybe I want to, send a message about that. You'll go ahead and enter the blast name. That's basically just the subject line of the message that you're sending. So then you'll click into the content. At this point, you can go ahead and add the context that you'd like to send. I'll just pull up, I'll just pull up Haley because she's here. But let's say I'm just sending this to Haley. You can also choose to send to groups. So if you've already created a group of people, it makes it super easy to just select the entire group as a whole. But let's say I just want to add Haley for now. Um, let's see, do either of these ones have a phone number? Maybe not. Let's see. Let's go.
I should have a phone number on there.
Yeah, it's not pulling one up.
Hmm.
Let's see. Let me go back to people and just find someone.
Nikisha or Adam would be some of the names I saw had full contacts. Huh. Try Adam.
Let me try Adam. There we go.
There he
There's one.
is. Nice.
Okay. So if they do have a phone number, they would be able to be selected here. So in this case, I'll just select Adam. And then what you'll want to do is add the content of that message. So let's say something like, thank you so much for joining us this Easter. You can even say something like, we'd love to learn more about you. Here is a link to our visitor form, if you have one.
And I know
And
that one of the questions I answered it, but you'll see at the bottom left-hand corner that 0 out of 500 option there in the lower corner shows you that between March 11th and April 11th for this particular account, they have 500 text messages they can send out. That's covered with their subscription. And then if they go over that, they can pay per text.
yes. And just to clarify, I don't know if anyone's asked, but I know that I didn't, it wasn't intuitive when I first heard it. The 500 messages is just 500 outgoing. It's not 500 in total. So if
Correct.
someone responds to you, that's not going to take off the 500 messages. Um, that might have been clear, but I just wanted to double check because I know that I've been asked that before.
There you go.
Um, but anyway, so you'll fill out the content of the message, and then you'll see up here on the right-hand side that there's a send now option or a send later. So that's where you would just select the send later, and then you can get super specific about when you'd like it to send. In this case, you're probably following up with people maybe on Monday morning after Sunday service, or maybe even after service on Sunday. So you could say, I would like to reach out to them at 2 p.m. I don't know why these numbers are in increments of three, but let's say I wanted to reach out to them at like 2 p.m. on Sunday after church, then you can go ahead and do that, and then you would just click Save Blast. What that's going to do is send them that notification or that email that you'll see the preview here on the right-hand side. Excuse me, the text message that it'll send. You just click Save Blast, and then that's it. Now it's just sitting there and oh, it did actually save you, Haley. So you might
It picked me. Oh
you
my
might receive
gosh,
a message on
guys. I just got a
on
message
Sunday.
from my church.
But
Cool.
yeah, that's the basics of how you would schedule a message. I hope that clarifies your question.
Amazing. Those are all the questions in the Q&A. I checked for any extras in the chat, but I think we're good.
Great. Well then, as we wrap up here, then I don't know if you guys can see the presentation. Can you, or are you looking at what screen are you looking?
It's just a dark screen right now. It says Mariah has
Oh,
started to share, but then I don't see.
great.
Sorry.
Um, well, essentially that was the end of what we wanted to cover today. Thank you guys so much for joining. We've had a blast chatting with you guys and answering your questions. Again, as always, if you do have additional questions, please reach out to support@Tithely or our grow@Tithely as well if you're just joining us as a new Tithely member. But we thank you so much for joining us today. Let us know if you need anything. We're here for you. But yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a happy Easter.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
All right, bye-bye.